I'm testing the Light Lens Lab 28mm 2.8 9 element. I only had it for a short bit. A friend had it. I was able to shoot half a roll. I only have, well, currently only have the 28mm Leica Elmarit spherical. So that's what I compared it against. The film here is FP4. Camera set to 800. And I pushed the heck out of it in D76. Now that's going to limit sort of like how much I can dig into the maybe the type of sharpness that like an M11 shooter might care about. But for me, right, as long as I'm getting the most out of 100 speed film, 400 speed film, that's all I care about. So this was a good test for me. Now let's just get a look at these things. Here's the Light Lens Lab lens. The 9 element, I'm just going to call it. It's a nice looking lens. I had the 35 8 element, their first lens. The build quality was very good. But then I got the Elkin and I was amazed with the build quality. It was maybe like the best build quality I'd ever seen. And this is right up there with the Elkin, maybe even beyond it. Right, it feels very solid, brass, very smooth. Right, it's up there with like the best Voigtlanders, the best Leica lenses. Yeah, really impressive build quality. Now, compared to the, right, what I like for 28 is this guy, the Elmarit spherical. This one is smaller. The focus is a little easier, like lighter to the touch. But I wouldn't say it feels as luxurious. I would say it just feels maybe takes less force to use it, right? And of course, if you use these spherical lenses a lot, right, they all start to have a similar feeling, and their focus ranges work very similarly. But I also find, I mean, this one's almost too small, right? Right, it's a little bigger. You know, the diameter up front is definitely bigger. But enough about the body, the physical body of the lenses. Let's look at the test shots. And I've looked at these very briefly. So let's just jump between. So it's always going to be the same pattern. The first shot is going to be the 9 element, and the second shot is going to be the Leica Elmarit. Now I'm focusing, what camera am I? Oh, I'm using my CLE. So I'm focused here on my M6. You know, the only thing that's not much is jumping out to me other than the spherical has a little more out of focus areas in the background. And that might be just a little, no, it looks like I focused, the Oregon on the map is very similarly focused. And so I don't know, the spherical seems to have a little more blur, background blur, right? Otherwise, I don't really see anything, nothing's jumping out at me. Okay, here I came a little closer. So 9 element, Elmarit. Well, it's kind of rhyme, don't they? I need a 9-element Leica. Ooh, what's the phrase here? 9-element spherical. I don't know. Yeah, that's good. All right, so yeah, I focused on the Lightlands lab box here. The Elmarit looks a little sharper in terms of the focus point. However, right, it's the CLE. I can't make too much of, you know, I may have just missed my focus a little bit. It's just one photo. Anything else standing out to me? I did not do these on a tripod. I'd say I'm getting a little more vignetting on the Lightlands Lab, but pretty subtle. Okay. I can see some people saying, like, why is this guy pushing film for a lens test? Yeah, you could, but this is how I shoot my film, so, you know, FP4 at 800. I mean, those are, you know, pretty similar here. Oh, here's kind of a cool thing where, right, come on in here. Right, that's the Elmarit. And then, right, there's the 9-element. So definitely, right, more diameter up front. But that brass, right, it's a brass metal tab with an infinity lock. Right, if you like how that feels. Let's see. I can put these side by side. Let me do that. You know, this far away, right? They're both 2.8. I just don't. Very similar. Right, which the Elmarit spherical is a great lens. I like these verticals because I can put them side by side. And again, it's, you know, it's like the bigger difference is that I moved a little bit, right? It almost looks like it's the same lens. I've just taken 2 pictures. Any difference in here? I mean, I would guess this would look very different on a digital, but right, the difference is negated by shooting on film. Right, both very, very sharp where I focused. Okay, oh, let's not go side by side on those. Nine-element, spherical, very similar. Yeah, I couldn't tell, right? If you passed me these and said which one's what, I couldn't tell you. All right, here's I'm pretty close. I'm focused here on the M6. M6 was handy because it's, you know, easy shiny thing to focus on. You know, look at that. Really similar. Very similar. Yeah. So 9 element. Hold on, it's loading. 9 element. Spherical. Oh, sorry. 9 element. Spherical. I'm going to load those side by side. Focus on the eraser. And these are all at 2.8. Did I tell you that? Everything here is 2.8. Because with the 28, right, the more you stop it, right, as soon as you go past 2.8, it's going to be so similar. Wow. I mean, I can't tell the difference really on most of these shots. Focus on my cat here on the right, that black object. Yeah. So what's my conclusion? I think my conclusion is that if for a film shooter like me, where I'm mostly shooting 100, 400 speed films, right, they're basically interchangeable in terms of the focal length and even the image quality. And the much bigger difference is just around, well, the price and the build. I don't want to say quality. I mean, although I'll say the Light Lens Lab is a better build quality than the spherical. But even that, I think they're both high quality builds. It's more about sort of what fits maybe your body and just sort of what do you like, right? Right? Do you want that metal tab focus and a little more girth up front, which sometimes is a nice place to like rest your hand, rest your fingers, make sure that your fingers aren't in the way, right? It's not always like a little bit of size up front's okay, right? As long as it's not starting to become blocking your view, right? And the Elmarit is definitely like a little smaller, little petite thing. Which for me, right, I'm really a CLE shooter. For a 28, I'm gonna gravitate to the small Minolta. I really like that for my 28 millimeter, and so I really like the Elmarit because it's so small, and I sort of value that quick focus tab. Right, it's a little bit easier and quick, and so right, I'm not gonna jump to the Light Lens Lab. So. But if I had maybe an M camera, maybe especially an older M, and it was more like brass, and I liked kind of the feel of brass and full metal, and I wanted something like a high quality lens to go with, right, my M2 or something, or M4, right? I could see that the Light Lens Lab being really attractive. Also, the 9 element didn't work on my SL2S, right? It had that back lens element is, I don't know if it's like so far back, right, or whatever. It's so large that I couldn't get it to work on the SL2S. It worked fine on an M10, right? It worked fine on the M6 and the CLE, but did not work with the SL2S. Okay. Take care.